What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining me on these analysis. We're going to be looking at SOXL today. I know there's a lot of criticism over leverage ETFs over the course of however many years, but I think they can be great tools if you time them properly. You can hold these for, in my opinion, if you dollar cost average in or you buy extremely low, you can hold them for an extended period, but you always have to be careful. But you definitely want to time these, in my opinion. Like looking at this trend line, this is almost somewhat of an indicator of when you should buy, not financial advice. But if you just look here in this zone, I mean, those have been crazy buying opportunities. And even if you were to drop all the way down, like you buy at 920 and you drop to $4.30, you lost like half of your money. If you give that 3 to 5 years, you're going to be well into the money. I mean, not financial advice, but I think if you give this 3 to 5 years, this could potentially be a no-brain buy. I know people will talk about leverage decay, but if we get an extended bear market, yeah, you can definitely get crushed. I can see how these are bad. Pretty much the idea is S&P 500 is always making all-time highs. It's usually going up. I know this isn't the S&P 500, but S&P 500 is tech heavy, but it tracks SOXX, and you can see, I mean, it got clobbered here at the back end of the dot-com bubble and then the GFC. But I mean, ever since then, it's just been on a tear, absolute tear. So, and these past, in 2022, COVID, and then this negative sentiment around semiconductors now. This is probably the opportunity to get in, not financial advice. But I mean, if you take a look, just every time we touch this line, look at what happens after the fact. First move, this is 15 months, 280%. 13 months, 400%. I'm not going to go all the way to this bottom wick, but I'll go to this one here. In 20 months, maybe 19 months, 12 to 1300%. Go from here to the top, about 20 months, 21 months, about 900%. And where are we at again? Right here. So what happens if we gain another 900% or 1000%? What's that, 90 bucks, 80 bucks? And that's not even buying the exact bottom. If this is the bottom, we don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. This could be a great opportunity. Just definitely be careful the way that you purchase. If you're going to deploy a certain amount of cash, maybe you can do half of it and then DCA the other half over the course of the next 2 years. And then whatever else you want to DCA, you put it into something else that isn't as volatile. But yeah, I think this could be a good option. This thing, once it gets going, it just rips. And then if you look at SOXX, this thing is hitting its bottom trend line that's been established since 2018. So, and it's respecting it pretty well, rejected off pretty well. We still have 11 days. So let's see what happens. I mean, if we break out of this thing's probably going to rip. And once we crack all-time highs, it's going to be game over. We're going to see a nice move like this or something like that, where we're just going up at a fast rate. Because SOXX, even in, you can see this itself, just a standard ETF. I mean, you go from November, this bottom here, November, this is a total of 7 months. You gain 77%. And this is on the standard ETF. This isn't leveraged or anything. So, yeah, this is why SOXX is, or SOXL is down so hard, because this thing moves insanely quick and aggressively. 44% down. And on the 3X, of course, a lot of people will say, oh, it's 44%, so it's got to be 120. No, it's not how it works. It's not going to go to zero. It's 86%. Obviously, it's not triple leveraged on the way down. Sometimes it will be, but not always. So it's actually 37% on SOXX. And SOXL is currently down 87. But to the actual bottom that we hit, it was 89%. Yeah, so these things won't go to zero. This will go to zero if SOXX goes to zero, but that's not going to happen because this is based on semiconductors, so that's saying that nvidia is going to zero, AMD, SMCI, all of those, Texas Instrument, none of that's going to happen. AVGO. So let's take a look at the SMAs here. We did fall underneath the 50 week. We want to, or I'm sorry, 50 month. We want to get a bounce off of that. But we still have 11 days. So let's see if we get a sharp move up and maybe turn this whole body into a wick, and then we get a nice green candle on top of that. That'd be super bullish. But we're gonna go to the weekly. On the weekly, we did close underneath the 200 week, which is not a good sign. We definitely want to get a close back above, but we're still holding this long-term trend line, so there's a good chance that we can get back on top of this 200 week moving average. So we'll see how it goes. On the monthly Bollinger Bands, we got a sharp move off of it. Let's see if we go back to the blue band now. And on the weekly, we're outside of the blue band, outside of the green outer band, and now we close back inside, and now we're like closing right on top of it at the moment. The monthly RSI is still super bearish. Takes a lot of time for this thing to turn around, of course. And on the weekly, we're actually starting to look better. We're starting to create higher highs, higher lows, but we'll see what this next move is. Let's see if we create a fresh high off of this and push up higher and start making our way up. Have somewhat of a V-shaped recovery. We'll see what happens. On the weekly, we were extremely bearish on the MACD, increasing in volume, and it doesn't look like it's turning around yet, but we could get that turnaround if we start to see some green candles forming here on the chart. On the monthly, kind of in the same scenario, but we're just higher up in the bullish territory. We're in the positives above the zero dotted line. Overall, though, I do think this is going to be a good opportunity that we can look back on and be like, man, should have bought that triple leverage ETF. That's usually how it is. People usually want to buy the triple leverage ETF when you move it like this and you don't see that red move here to the side and you just see it rallying all the way up and you see it up here. That's when people want to buy it because they're like, dang, if I would have bought here, I would have made 600% or whatever. And then you get that large move to the downside. But now this large move to the downside is your opportunity to say, I'm glad I bought and made my 700, 800%. Not financial advice, of course. I'll see you guys in the next one.